Hello and welcome. In this video we will see the advanced way of setting up builds and packaging in Unreal Engine 5, and well, this also works in Unreal Engine 4. Last video we used the project launcher here to set up a profile and run that profile so we can adjust certain settings and be able to mix and match by creating more profiles. And in this way, if we wanted a shipping profile, we don't have to tweak all the values in the project settings. We can have two profiles: a development profile, a shipping profile, maybe a profile that only builds one culture, another one that builds all the cultures. So it's really convenient. But let's take it a step further. We want to automate this, right? Every programmer should strive to automate things that are being done repeatedly. So the way to do it is through scripts. I'm using Windows, so this would be a batch script that we can run from our command. But we want it to be repeatable, so we don't want to type the commands every time, right? So let's write a little batch file. Here we have my build folder. Let me rename this so my next build and packaging doesn't fail. Let's call it cool convenient package. So first we need to find our project, and it's for organization reasons. So let's, for example, right click here, show in Explorer, content, cool project. Here we are. Now we can use this folder called script, but I'm gonna create a new one and call it cool scripts. If I could type. Just to know that it's a folder that I created, right? So here, I'm gonna right click and I'm gonna create a new text file, text document. I will call this build and package game. I'll open it opened in my Notepad++, but maybe you don't use that, so I'm gonna open it in a simple notepad, right? So here we need to add the commands that will be used to package the game. This is being done if we check the project launcher here, that hopefully you didn't close it from the last video. But if we check the output log, we see that in order to package a project, we need to run this automation tool. And this automation tool is a program that you don't really need the Unreal editor open in order to be used. So this way of packaging stuff is very useful because we don't have to open the project to do it. So we need to run the automation tool with the correct parameters. So we need to go where the automation tool is installed. In my case, I have 3 drives: the local disk, data, entertainment. My Unreal is installed in data. So just to be sure that this script will work, I'm gonna go to the drive where Unreal is installed. And I will paste this. I will probably create a little paste bin where you can copy this text. So first command is just go into a deep drive. This will be like running the command, and here it starts in the C drive. So I need to go where Unreal is, and that's exactly what this is doing. Now we have to find where the the automation tool is installed, by default, is here in your Epic Games installation. And you need to be careful with this part because let's find it. If we do this and we can list everything here, we have all the versions that you have installed, right? I have the 25, 26 and the 5, the Unreal 5 early access. So we need to change that. So let me change it like this. And it needs to be exactly the same. You could probably find it in the Windows Explorer, so it's easier and you can copy and paste it. But I just need to change that text. So what this is doing is going exactly to the folder that I need. And if I list the files, between these, there it is, automation tools, and there should be an executable right here that will help me run it. But being in this folder is more than enough. Now, we need to run the automation tool with the parameters so we can run the project. To do it, we just need, I'm gonna copy and paste this little comment. You just need to go here, start, then automation tool. And now we need some help with the parameters. And that's where the project launcher shines. Here the command that we want is this one right here. Build, cook, project, and here is the path of your project and all the flags that are being used by the project launcher. So what I will do is select this line, parsing command line that have this build, cook, run. I will copy it and then I will paste it here. I need to delete this parsing command line text, this script for project, and just leave it with the build, cook, run. And I have this long string of parameters and things I have set up. For example, the map that I want to cook. If I set up the culture, it would probably be here somewhere. And now I will save this text. I can close it. And in my folder cool scripts, I need to change it. Instead of using the extension .text, I need .bat. And yes, I'm sure I want to change it. This will mean that now, and I will refresh it just so the icon changes, that now I can execute this package, this packaging part of the development with only this script. And let's find the build folder. There is no folder here called Windows, right? I can also close the editor and run it from here. Run only the automation tool part. If I double click it, oh, it didn't find an executable, it seems, automation tool. Or maybe I messed up my batch file. Let me see. And yes, I was forgetting about adding this path here, because if I'm running it now, I'm opening only the .NET, and here in the folder .NET there isn't an executable called automation tool, so it's here. And we can copy and paste this path here. So now, if I save this text, I can close it, or I could leave it open, but for sake of being organized. So let's double click it. And now it's running the automation tool from this batch file. And it's doing exactly the same things that it was being done in the project launcher. And well, it will close as soon as it finishes. But if you want to find the log, you can find it in the app settings. We can see that there was no errors, no warnings, and it auto closes. And now we have this Windows folder here, and it's working exactly the same. Now, this is where the video could end, but I wanted to add a little other script that has helped me a lot. And let's create it. Let's create a new text file, because now that you have this ability of building and packaging the game from a batch file, you don't even need to open Unreal Engine. You could also, well, you should have a way to renaming this thing and probably converting it into a zip so you can share it easily, because it has the default name Windows. In Unreal 4 it was Windows No Editor, but they changed it here in Unreal 5. So what I would do is what I have done with these two other folders. But if you are working on top the same project, you would probably need to set up versions of the same project, right? Like version 1.0, 1.2, 1.3, or 1.0. To do that, you will need to enter in, well, not in this folder, enter on the actual project, and those type of information you can find it in my default game ini.ini also. And these are the project settings. If you want to set up what version this project is currently is in, then you can open the project here and open the project settings. Here in the project settings, you will have a description, and here is the project version. By default, this is 1.0.0.0. This is safe in the default game ini. I will call it, for example, 0.0.0.1. And now, if I open that default game, edit, now it has project version 0.0.0.1. What I want to do, what I could do manually, is here just rename it to cool project. That's the name of my project. Cool project 0.0.0.1, and then I could also zip it to .zip. And now it would be easy to share it around, right? But it will be really repetitive whenever you need to package something and need to change the name. So the next script I would like to share with you guys is here. Let's go to the where is it? Config cool project, cool scripts. I'm gonna call it rename to version and zip. I'm gonna open this text file that it opened in my other monitor, so I'm gonna edit it right here. And to do what I have told you is, first we need to find where this is being stored. Hopefully, well, you could make it more complicated if this folder can change around, but if you are using like a defined route, you could, like we did in the other script, we go to the volume, it's storing the data, and then we can go to the path where my new folder with the cooked content will be, right? This would be Windows, because this is the default name. Now we are here. Oh, here you can see I copy and pasted this here, and then we need to read what what version this is in, and it will be, we would need to access the project. And here I made a mistake. First I have to go where the project is being saved. My project is being saved here, in cool project, because here is the INI, the default game INI. So here, let's copy this path that it happens to be on the D drive also. And now, using this little script, we will do a for loop, searching for every line inside that default game.ini. And we will need to find this token project version. And when we do find it, we will save it into a variable called build ID. And then we will print the build ID just so we know that it has been set correctly. And in this way, what I'm doing is removing some extra text that sometimes get passed around. If you don't need this, then you can delete this line, because this is only removing, I believe, a blank space. And then, now that we have the project version in a variable, we can rename the folder. To rename the folder, now we need to go to where the build has been stored, that it would be here in Unreal Project builds and, well, Windows, right? So I need to go to this path, and if it isn't in the same drive, then you would need to, for example, if this was in my E volume, then you would need to do this. But in this case, it's not necessary. And I can just delete this because I'm already in the D drive. So we pass it the location where the version is, where the folder is saved. And now we need to tell it to rename here. And I used Windows No Editor because this is a script that I have been using in Unreal 4. Here is just Windows, and this is the project name. Instead of that letters, we have to call it cool project. Now this build ID cool project, it will be cool project blank space 00001. And to zip the file, we just need to do this. Call the tar.exe and, well, call it, replace this with the cool name, right? And yeah, it's the same, cool project. And here also I need the cool project. Now let's see if it works. And I like to add this extra step where we just run the game, because it's like a sort of an alarm that everything here has finished zipping up and renaming. And also let me test the package project. So if we want to just run it, we can go and go to the folder. We have we are storing the .exe or the .exe, how we call it around this part of the world. And now, for example, it would be something like this: cd documents D documents Unreal builds. And now we would need to use this name, cool project. Well, not like this, cool project, and then use the build ID here, because that's the name that we have given it. and then we just need to run this executable, coolproject.exe or exe. So let's test it. Let's see if it works. Maybe I'm mistaking some step. Let's go to my script. No, my cool scripts. Let's rename it. Yes, I want to rename it, and let's run it. Now you see that something went wrong here, because I mean it's doing it. Cool project version, like, and it also ran it. So at least that part of the script is right. What is being, let me Alt4 from that. Yeah, all the access. It did rename it. It wasn't the right. Instead of calling it, like, actually using the project version, it just used the text project version. Let me find what was the problem. And I managed to find where the error was in the script. Here I'm looking for the default game.ini, but if I go to this path, there isn't one. I need to go to config, and here it is. So this is the path I need to use. Now if we save it, let's see, let's go to my cool scripts, and let's see in my build folder. Yeah, I have renamed, and let me delete this. Here it is again, my folder called Windows that has my cool project here, and oh, the size is even less. Oh, that's really cool. Well, we can now rename it. I put a pause in the script. I can continue with enter, and now the cool project is being renamed and also zipped. So yeah, I believe there it is. Now that everything finished, now the project auto launches, because that's what the script has told it to do. And this comes with a lot of benefits, because if you want to change the version, you could just go here in the description, bump the version to, I don't know, 0.2, just go to the cool scripts, build your game. And the thing about this is that if it fails, then this window will disappear. So you just need to check in your build folder if a folder called Windows has been created or not. So that way you just know that everything went smoothly, and you don't have to keep a lot of track of this window, right? And now that it has been created, we can call this little let me remove this pause I added. I added this. No, that I could. Yeah, this is the thing that it's bothering me. Let's save it. Rename it. It's being renamed. A duplicate file exists. 1.0. Did this got saved? I believe it didn't. If I go to my cool project on config and open the game, oh, it did change. That's weird. Well, it did open. Let me see. Builds, and it's renaming correctly. Let's run it again, just to see if it's really working. And now it does change. Yeah, this is probably because I didn't press enter here. This doesn't save until you press enter. Just keep that in mind, guys and gals. But YouTube tell us that there's almost none females, but we could only hope that the game development expands and it abarks all the world. Let's allow access. Now it works. Let's do it again, just to be extremely sure. I'll put 3 here. I'll press enter. I'm gonna select anything else. I'm gonna go to the config file. I'm gonna make double sure. Yes, it has changed. Let's go to the code scripts. Let's build and package the game. Here in my build folder, when it finishes, it should create a Windows folder. There it is. It should be almost done. And now we can rename it to the version I want, CoolProject.3. And just to drive the point home, you can close the editor. And let's say you're working, I don't know, late hours, but you have finished your work, but they need like a shipping build right away. You could create another script. Like this is using the default profile. If we enter the here it is, client config development, you could change it to shipping. Just run the project launcher and then copy and paste those parameters. But you don't need to open Unreal to package the game. If there are any changes, hopefully you're using source control and they are not just sending you all the changes in a new zip file with all the project. Hopefully you're using Git or maybe Perforce. You could just update your branch or your source and then bump the project version, just entering default game, right click it, edit it. If you're using Perforce, you would probably need to check it out. And you can set up the project version here from the text file, which is really nice and really fast in comparison to having to open the project and loading all the stuff into memory again. So I'll save it, file, save, close it, go to my scripts again, build the game. It should say somewhere that the versions are not the same. Here it is, the versions are not the same, so the cook is being invalidated. My folder is being created, Windows here, so it should be almost done. Now we just need to rename my file. It has been renamed, and now after the zip is completed, right now it's not completed, but after it is, then it will run automatically and I can test it to see if something has broken with the new changes that I have pulled from the source control. So there you have it. You can now automatize a lot of the work that it could be really repetitive, and you could make a lot of human mistakes along the way. So yeah, hope you find it useful. It was a longer video, but it should provide some value to your workflow. And with that, I'll see you guys later.